escort the athletes to the field of play for the Recurve men bronze medal match.
Time to go for bronze here in Paris for the last time as the Recurve men's individual contenders for the podium come out. It's time to go down to the shooting line.
On target number 1, representing Brazil, Marcus Almeida. On target number 2, representing Italy, Mauro Nespoli. The line judge for this matchup is Pista Brazil.
Two previous stage winners here, Marcus Almeida of Brazil and Mauro Nespoli of Italy, going up against each other. These two have met 3 times in the past, and it's Nespoli who has the 2-1 lead in the head-to-head, but they most recently met at the World Championships a couple of weeks ago in Berlin, where Almeida took the win 7-1. Chef, can you call this bronze medal match?
I find this very difficult, but just from gut feel, I'm going to say Marcus is going to go into 6th gear here and get this done with, get this over with, this bronze medal match. He looks like somebody who would have wanted to shoot the gold medal match and is now shooting this with a vengeance.
9. Yes.
The flags are relatively still now on the venue, which I think bodes well for Marcus, although what we saw in the last match is that when it's getting a little bit windy, Mauro can also be, I think his side picture gets a little bit nervy, and he holds too long for his draw weight and then makes mistakes.
9. Yes.
Nespoli has some room here. What a start. A perfect 30 from Mauro Nespoli, and the points in the first set are all his.
Yeah, and that 6th gear that I was talking about that Marcus had, I feel like Nespoli has shifted as well. I think, like I said, now that the wind has died down a little bit, that gives both of these archers the opportunity to just shoot good shots rather than fight the wind. And even though Mauro typically has a little bit of an advantage with wind, I think he was affected by it in the last match. In the way that I just described, I think he was just holding on to full draw that little bit too long because he has such a heavy bow, and eventually that will make you shoot bad arrows.
Well, advantage, Mauro Nespoli 2-0 up, so Marcus Almeida shoots first in the second set.
The first 9 by Mauro there. And the thing with set system is even if Marcus now shoots a 30 and Mauro shoots a 29, which is not the case, but let's say hypothetically, if there's only 1 point difference between them, there's still 2 set points awarded. So it doesn't matter if you shoot not as high of a score in the beginning, or as long as you can get into the match again with the set system, you're good.
So shared points in this second set means Dalmeida's on the board, but Nespoli holds his 2-point lead. We look at the fact that this is the Olympic test event, a rehearsal for everyone, including the organisers, officials, but obviously athletes and coaches getting a taste for the venue. You'd expect both of these athletes perhaps to be in Paris. Brazil already have a quota spot, courtesy of Dalmeida.
Yeah, so Marcus had that top 4 finish and got his quota spot at the World Championships. Italy and therefore Mauro Nespoli still have to somehow get quota spots. So whether it be continental championships or at the quota tournament, the final quota tournament, but they still need to get tickets. So Mauro is now shooting at the test event of an event of which he's not certain he will go to yet.
Certainly an experience that he'll want to have should Italy qualify, and you've got to expect Dalmeida on the form he's in, unless something really unusual happens, will be in the lineup in Paris.
It's interesting as well with Marcus Dalmeida. Over the last couple of years, he has just made an adjustment in his training plans and in his mental approach. Before, he was mostly shooting a lot of arrows, and he has just built himself a training program that includes physical training and mental training as well. And you can see the fruits of his labor. You can see well, he's the #1 in the world on the world ranking right now, and yet another top 4 finish, regardless of what this match will bring. So that just tells you how much a structured training plan can bring you.
Well, he's set the bar high here. Nespoli needs a 10 to share the set points. And he drops it into the 8. That little group is not too bad, but low and left. And that means that the world #1 is back on level terms. Chef, let's just be on the optimistic side for Mauro Nespoli and say that he will get a qualification spot for Paris. How important is it to shoot here? And my follow-up question to that is, how important is it to get a medal here and get the feel for standing on the podium?
Well, it is, I think, nice to have that experience. It's nice to be on a finals venue like this, but I don't think it's necessary, because there's also been examples of people not going to the test event and then doing really well at the actual Olympics. And if I may speak for myself, I medaled at the test event in Rio de Janeiro, and then I got 4th at the actual game. So in that regard, medaling doesn't really do much.
But did you find that experience of going to the test event for Rio, albeit not a World Cup? This is the very first time Hyundai Archery World Cup has been used as the official test event. But did you find that experience useful when you actually turned up in Rio for the games itself?
Yeah, for sure, because you knew the way, you kind of knew what the venue was going to be like, what the atmosphere was like, albeit it was different at the actual games. You had some sort of idea what was going to go, what was going to happen during the actual games.
Dalmeida putting it into the 10 for the 3rd time in a row, or the first hour of the set. Good recovery and a good adjustment made from Nespoli.
Yeah, in that last group it was all low right, but the flags also indicated that everything was blowing to the right. And I think Marcus kind of adjusted, and Nespoli had trouble adjusting to that little bit of wind. So he must have adjusted his sights somehow.
So a chance here for Dalmeida to take the lead for the first time in the match. He needs a 10 and a perfect 30 to go 5-3 up. puts it into the X ring, and he's done just what he needed. Grit and determination, sharing the points in the second, winning the third, and now taking the fourth. 29 from Nespoli, not a bad score at all, but no good if your opponent hits the middle of the target 3 times.
Yeah, just looking at the scores now, we've got that 126 from Mauro Nespoli that kind of stands out, but for the rest, everything has been 28 or higher again. So now that the wind is not as much of a factor in this match, we can see that these archers just have this insane level of shooting, and they have had that level of shooting pretty much the whole season.
Well, arrows recovered from set number 4. Marcus Almeida has done a job here. 5-3 up, and that Nespoli following in the same pattern as his semi-final, getting out to a good lead and then being pegged back and eventually overtaken. He needs to arrest this run of D'Almeida right now.
Yeah, the only way he'll be able to do that is by winning the set, because if Marcus D'Almeida gets a split set, he gets the match. And this is exactly what Mauro Nespoli needs to do. In the last match he had trouble shooting a 10 to lock out a set. But I think he doesn't need to shoot a 10, he needs to shoot an 8 to get a shoot off out of this match.
Wow, what on earth happened there? What a way to do that. 2 X's and a 10 for Mauro Nespoli, and as you said, Chef, doing what he needed to do and going into a shoot-off, knowing that he can find the middle of the target, not just the 10 ring, but the X ring. But what on earth has happened to Marcus D'Almeida?
Well, a quick observation from where we're sitting, and the flags have gone from all pointing to the right to suddenly pointing all to the left. So I wonder if Nespoli picked up on it and Marcus kind of couldn't adjust in the right manner. Because it's not a hard, the wind is not blowing too vigorously, but then if it's slightly blowing to the right and then slightly blowing to the left, that's gonna double up.
Cool as a cucumber after 2 X's and a 10 to put himself back in the match and force the shoot-off. Chef loves a shoot-off, don't we all? Clean the target faces, and now it's down to a 1 arrow to decide who is going to get the bronze medal here in Paris. Trying to stay cool and calm. Almost no emotion on the face of the Italian Mauro Nespoli. So shoot-off time here in the Recurve men's individual bronze medal match. That cool look from Mauro Nespoli, I'm sure, betrays a little anxiety, a little nervousness. It's a little bit more clear to see that on the face of the Brazilian Marcus D'Almeida. But he is the world #1. The pair of them know what this pressure is like. 1 arrow to decide bronze here in Paris.
quite a good arrow. Mauro needs to not only shoot a 10 here, but shoot a better 10 than Marcus.
Oh, it's gone high and into the 9, and the world #1 is a bronze medalist here, won a stage already this season, and now will be on the podium here in Paris a little bit later on. What a performance from the man from Brazil. Had to fight back from 3-1 down against a strong starting Mauro Nespoli. Got pegged back in the 5th as well, having been 5-3 up. Nespoli forcing the shoot off with a brilliant 5th set of 3 10s. But Marcus d'Almeida has taken the bronze in the 4th stage of the Hyundai Archery World Cup here in Paris, the warm-up for next year's Olympic Games.